round of back-and-forth attacks across the Middle East. The U.S. launching more strikes against Iran through the weekend, and Iran firing off its own drone strikes against American allies in the region. And who is in control of the Strait of Hormuz? That's a huge question. Both sides claim they are running things as ships keep coming under attack in the crucial oil route. Brent crude prices already up to about $77 a barrel this morning. News Nation Washington correspondent Corey Smith is live at the White House for us. Corey, we're almost halfway through a temporary deal, but peace seems just as far away as ever. What are you hearing from the White House?
Well, Marky, we went into the weekend expecting technical talks to continue. Instead, we got both sides exchanging fire and conflicting statements over whether the Strait of Hormuz is open. In other words, not much has really changed. It was a full weekend of strikes, with the U.S. hitting dozens of Iranian targets late Sunday night, the second straight night of attacks. This morning, CENTCOM says the U.S. hit Iran's air defense systems, radar sites, small boats, and drone equipment. For its part, Iran responded in kind, firing missiles at U.S. military targets in Gulf allied states. Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, all sounding missile alerts this morning. What you're looking at here is video Iran's military says shows its drones launching as American allies are attacked. Now, within minutes of each other, the U.S. and Iran putting out these dueling statements over the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM posting that all shipping lanes were open and U.S. forces were positioned to keep it that way. Iran's Persian Gulf Strait Authority responded saying, no, the strait was closed, and if it did open, the only way to get through was with a permit. Marky, by the end of this week, we will be halfway through that 60-day window for the U.S. and Iran to hammer out a permanent peace deal. Yet, as you see here, it really appears both sides are fighting over the memorandum of understanding, which landed us in this point. U.S. officials are openly questioning who is in control in Iran, telling military leaders and negotiators to get on the same page. Of course, all of this playing out as Congress comes back in session this week. Democrats already talking about another war powers resolution vote. And we know the president wants Republicans to push forward with another reconciliation bill to fund the war. That may have become a little more challenging with the sudden death of South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham this weekend. Of course, Graham had a major role in U.S. foreign policy, and his death no doubt will cause ripple effects across a number of current issues, Marky.
Absolutely. Corey Smith live at the White House. Thank you for that and getting us up to speed there. For more, let me bring in News Nation's senior national security contributor, former Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Richard Newton. General, good morning to you, sir. So you have, each side asserting dominance over the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC saying this weekend it's closed until further notice. I feel like, we've seen that song and dance before. Does either side actually have control this morning?
Well, good morning, Marky. I think your point and your question is there's neither side that really has control, although U.S. military capabilities led by Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of U.S. Central Command, could certainly execute control with more dominant military forces. The last couple of days, as Corey reported, this is the largest scale of military concentration of firepower against the Iranian regime positions there on the coast of the northern part of the strait, with regard, as he reported, their one-way drones, their coastal air defenses, their radars, and so forth, which is really threatening commercial shipping. The United States has also been very active in escorting commercial ships to the southern route, which hugs the Omani coastline. But I'm very skeptical that we're going to be able to find a path here of negotiations with the Iranian regime for a couple points. Number one, we've never been able to negotiate with them in good faith. And secondly, the question is really who is in control in Iran. You've got their civilian leadership is somewhat in tatters, but more hardline IRGC, I believe, in my informed opinion, are really the ones that are in control and, frankly, calling these shots, particularly as we're seeing here with regard to threats of commercial shipping in and around the strait.
Yeah, I think it is a huge question who's calling the shots over there. I mean, even through the days-long funeral events that we saw for the Ayatollah, his son Mushtaba was nowhere to be seen. So it does beg the question, who is in control? Now, CENTCOM says the latest wave of strikes were aimed at degrading Iran's ability to attack ships passing through the strait, but just last week, President Trump again repeatedly claimed that we wiped out Iran's military capabilities. Take a listen.
The Iran war has been a tremendous military success. They have no military left. We've made a lot of progress with Iran, too. Wiped out their military. We wiped out their Navy, their Air Force, their radar, their leaders. We wiped out everybody.
Yeah, General, if you could just help me square that circle. How have we destroyed Iran's military, but they're still able to attack ships in the Gulf? They're still able to target our allies across the region.
Let me speak very broadly. Iran is in a war of survival. The United States is conducting somewhat of a limited war and highly effective, by the way, with regard to what, as I mentioned, what Admiral Cooper's been doing with CENTCOM forces. However, there are still strong remnants of the Iranian military. They're essentially led by, as I mentioned, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. There's no quit in this Iranian, threats, particularly along the Strait and so forth. I think the United States, especially U.S. Central Command, is very clear-eyed about that. That's why we need to conduct these. You're going to see, the next several days conducting these strikes. But I believe the solution is not just military, Marky. I believe it is also economic. The Department of State levied additional sanctions on exchange money clearinghouses to prevent Iran from tapping into funds offshore. We also had levied against them several days or so ago their ability to sell their oil on the open market, and that's really going to hurt them. So I think it's a two-pronged approach that the administration is now pursuing, and I would certainly advise the president militarily, as we've seen right now, but also economically. I think that's what's going to draw them to the negotiating table, whomever that may be, by the way, at this point, to really get them to bend towards what we believe is our most important national security interests of getting the Strait open, keeping it open, and then we need to pursue really what's the most difficult part of negotiations is the nuclear weapons, the enriched uranium, their ballistic missiles, their support to proxies, and so on. But we're a long way away from resolving this.
Yeah, we'll see. And everything can change on a dime in just a matter of an hour. So we'll see what the next few days have in store. Lieutenant General Richard Newton, you were also with me throughout the show this morning. I'll check back in shortly. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Marky.
Good morning to you.